You alright guys, how we doing? Clinicality here, bringing you another FIFA 16 player review. Now before I get into the video, I want to apologise for the lack of uploads in the last week. Obviously it has been Christmas and I've been kind of busy, so as I say I do apologise for my lack of uploads, but they are going to be back to normal from now on, so stay tuned for lots more content on my channel. Anyway, into the video, and we're going to be reviewing second inform Shane Long today. Really well deserved inform. He got man of the match after scoring 2 goals against Arsenal in their 4-0 shock win on Boxing Day. And yeah, this card looks really good to be fair. As you can see, I put him into a pretty average Premier League side. The team itself played okay. Wasn't the worst team I've ever used. Wasn't the best either. Now in terms of player instructions, as you can see I left everything pretty much the same apart from the defensive pressing. I told him to press the back line. I like to play really aggressively and try and win the ball back as quickly as possible. So with him pressing the back line, it puts pressure on the defence and usually they'll pass the ball and we'll intercept it pretty high up the pitch. And it worked pretty well, so I do recommend using that instruction if you're going to build this team. Now one of the games once again disconnected in the first minute. I don't know why it happens, but it does. But anyway, we played 6 games, we scored 10 goals and got 2 assists, which is a pretty good return for a player that only costs 38,000 coins. He does currently go for about 35k on both consoles, and I would say that return is well worth the investment. Now onto Long's base stats, he has 86 pace, 80 dribbling, 81 shooting, 40 defending, 65 passing and 86 physical. Jumping into the in-game stats now, loads of good greens in there. 98 jumping, massive standout. Obviously he's got his 86 acceleration and sprint speed, and 83 strength is pretty darn good on a striker as well. Skill attributes, 85 penalties, 83 shot power. He also has 81 ball control, 82 finishing, some really nice stats. High work rates, he's right footed, 3-star skills, 3-star weak foot. He can play striker and he can play right mid. And he doesn't have any specialities or traits. Now into the clips, and as you'll see in this first clip, his pace is blistering. It's so good. He is so quick. It says 86 for both acceleration and sprint speed. It felt more like 90, maybe 91, 92. It was so good. He just burst past anyone. On the counter attack, this guy is so lethal. His pace is unreal, and by far his standout stat. To go with that pace, when he gets himself in those positions, most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, the ball is going in the back of the net. He does put his chances away for the most part, and as you can see in this clip, he can do it with either foot. Right or left, it doesn't matter. He's good at finishing. On top of that, he can actually take a really good long shot as well. I did actually manage to score a pretty decent long shot from outside the box with him, but for the most part you're not going to find him outside the box. The way his positioning works is he seems to want to be inside the box at all times. Personally, I really like that on a player, especially when it's a lone striker. You want him to be in there causing trouble, and as you can see here, like, he doesn't even finish it very well, but he's in the right place at the right time, gets a bit of luck and the ball goes in the back of the net. And that is what I like about this card. He's so good. He's always in the right place. So he's open again. And overall, his attacking positioning is really nice, even though he has high work rates. To go with his attacking positioning, he has 98 jumping. So when a ball does get whipped into the box, he can win the header and pull it in the back of the net. And to help out with that jumping, he has decent strength as well at 83, which means not only does he have the pace to play on the counter attack, he's also able to play as a target man and win those headers for you, and it makes him all round a really good finisher and just a deadly striker. Now his dribbling, however, isn't quite as good as the rest of his stats. His dribbling felt a little bit slow at times. Most of the time it didn't really matter because you were breaking through and you didn't really need to dribble past players because you were just using his pace. But if you did, it felt a little bit sluggish, and he only has 3-star skills as well, which isn't really that good. On top of that, his passing feels really bad actually. I wasn't a fan of his passing at all. Obviously most of the time you are going to be the one trying to finish it, not the one passing and setting it up. But most of his passes were a little bit overpowered or a little bit underpowered, and it made it kind of hard to use. That final pass, if it was him playing it, was usually a little bit off. But the thing I found with his card that was the most disappointing was his inconsistency. Half the games he would be an absolute god up front, and half the games he'd just be invisible. And the inconsistency really did put a downfall on this card for me. It was just a bit disappointing because you didn't know which one was going to turn up. Now on average he picked up a match rating of 8.4, but as I say, that was due to his inconsistency. 3 of the games he got over 9 ratings, and the other 3 games he got like below a 7.5 rating. So as I say, you never knew which one you were going to get, and all 10 of his goals came in 4 games. 2 of the games he literally did nothing. Onto his pros have to be his pace, absolutely incredible. His 3-star weak foot felt a lot more like 4 or maybe even 5-star weak foot, didn't really affect his card at all. His finishing was spot on, rarely ever missed a chance. His jumping and his heading really nice. His strength was really good as well, and you always found him inside the box in that deadly spot, so his positioning was really good as well. Onto his cons now. His passing, really quite bad, not impressed with it at all. Obviously 3-star skill moves, not the best to have on a striker, and obviously as I've said already, he is very inconsistent. For me, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. The reason being, on the games where he turned up, which was 3 out of the 6 games, he was one of the most fun cards to use, absolutely incredible striker, and he was just everywhere. But as I say, on the games where he didn't turn up, really disappointing. You couldn't find him anywhere on the pitch, and because of that it did put a downfall on this card for me. Now if you play on the counter attack, I think this guy will be a lot better for you. Most of the goals I scored came from counter attacks. His pace is so good, and you can abuse it if you play that way. For me, I usually like to keep hold of the ball, play like 60% possession games, and he doesn't really suit that for me. As I say, he was still good, but he could have been so much better if he was more consistent. As always, if you guys go out and try this guy, let me know down in the comments how he played for you. I always like to see how these players play for you guys. Other than that though, if you enjoyed, please drop a like on the video, helps me out a lot. There will be a new player review coming out tomorrow as well, so subscribe if you want to stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.